welcome back to
The Zak
and Buzz
Review. Hey, hang on a second, Zak. If there's something strange and it don't look good, who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters! Okay, we went to go to the cinema and we saw Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Yes,
which
that's
is
what we did.
which is the sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is the sequel to Ghostbusters 2, which is the sequel to Ghostbusters.
And we're completely ignoring the other Ghostbusters, which is
Multiverse.
in a different multiverse. That's it. But anyway, we're back with the new crew
Yes.
and the original crew.
Yes, it's very nostalgic in that way, much like the previous film, and obviously the previous characters from the original are much more in this one as opposed to the last one.
Yeah, and I've got to say I really enjoyed it because it was very hard to beat the original Ghostbusters, and this doesn't beat the original Ghostbusters,
No.
but as follow-on sequels go, I was laughing. The audience around me was laughing. I think it was very well received by the audience, which is always, in my book, a good sign. And it was a nostalgia trip with a kind of typical Ghostbusters story. I did like the bad guy in it. I thought the bad guy was done well.
That's what I was going to say, is the fact I know that we had Gozer back in Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Gozer the Gazarian.
Which I wasn't actually expecting, but that's the way they went, and I quite enjoyed that. But in this one, it was a completely new villain, and it had a very cool, creepy look.
Yes, maybe it was the ice because it was really fresh, wasn't it? It's because it was frozen. It was like that, a very fresh feel about it. Because we weren't treading down the same lines. Yeah, we had. If you've seen the trailer, you would have seen Slimer. Is it Slimer?
Yeah.
Yeah, Slimer in it, and that was very much the original Slimer.
Yeah. Going back to obviously when I saw that, I think it was Madam Web in 4DX.
Oh yeah.
In the trailer for that, when Slimer comes out of the kind of pile of rubbish and goes through the guy from Stranger Things, it splashed you with water.
That's quite
funny.
I'm
always going to remember that experience in 4DX.
Yeah, that is quite funny. And another little experience for me, actually, watching this movie, is in the first sequence, which is set back in time. Yay, right there, one of my old acting buddies, Paul Bunce, he was there as one of the main characters in that sequence.
From the the Manhattan Adventurers Guild or something like that?
Or Adventurers Club. And he's the one who's frozen with his arm out like that. And it's like, hey, it's my mate Paul, a fellow actor.
And then obviously he explodes.
Oh yeah, Paul explodes, bless him. But it was a really good sequence to see.
Who else can say that?
And because obviously we work in the movies, I could imagine that the fun he had with all the prosthetics going on and getting him into that kind of having to hold the position.
What I noticed about this one is obviously there were a lot of CGI effects, but it felt like some of the kind of Slimer and things like that, there was a degree of physical effects in there, and that really showed, which lended itself to the original, which was really good. Yeah,
and I think it was a good mix of both, as you say, the CGI and the physical effects. Like the old one. The old one, when they are going to combat Gozer the Gazarian on top of the building, you got the road outside is all cracking up and everything, and that was all massive. Must have been hydraulics and
even the creatures, the Keymaster and the Gatekeeper.
Yeah, Keymaster. They're breaking out the statues and everything.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah, I mean, we had the return to a statue of sorts, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
We saw the old librarian again, and they did render her the same as the original. Yeah, it looked like the original librarian.
We had the what was it? The initial sequence in the film was this soup dragon. That was quite cool.
Yeah, it was a good
and you saw the different ghost traps that they had.
They introduced the drone
because we'd obviously seen the car one in the previous film. But then the drone one was pretty cool.
Yeah, we had the gunner's seat with Phoebe.
Oh, yeah.
Can't help it, but Phoebe just looks like she'd make a perfect stand-in for Paul Atreides in Dune. I just kept watching
those really wide shots. You need to make the worms look bigger.
I don't know if that's her hair or if they put a wig on her. Yeah. I just kept looking at her thinking, it's Paul Atreides.
But that's the thing with this film and the previous film. Her character, I must say, is probably the best developed.
Yeah.
Because you kind of root for her the entire way.
You do.
And you do kind of occasionally get annoyed the way she's treated by other characters at times.
Yeah, again, you see that though in what could you call it, a movie trope? You see that where the teenager is being kind of like poo-pooed and not allowed to do what they want to do, and then they
have a rebellious streak,
moment,
but then they realise it always get it wrong.
You know, but it was also nice to see the chap who was in the original Ghostbusters.
The guy from Die Hard.
That's it.
He's now the governor.
He's got his own sort of underground ghost hunting.
Oh no, you're talking about that guy. That guy.
Hang on a second.
I was talking about the guy from Die Hard.
Right, you're talking about the guy in Die Hard who played the
reporter,
TV reporter. No.
Him too.
Because obviously he was in the original one, and I was waiting for the "he has no dick" joke to come up again, but they didn't do that. But it was nice to see him because he's now become the mayor.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, he's made his way up and he's become the mayor. No, it's the other chap who's taken over the
Zedman. That's his
he's
name.
taken over the aquarium and he's got this whole new ghost busting
team.
Yeah.
Well, I think that is the thing to say about this film. It's very much world building. It's padding out the world. It's showing where having the Ghostbusters around for so long, where it would go.
I will say, again, I like Dan Aykroyd's character. I can't think what his character is in Ghostbusters. No, it's not coming to me. I need a medium. I feel a name.
Speaking of that,
there's a name coming through. No, anyway, so he's got that shop of where he buys sort of curiosities and things, and that's why. But did you notice there was this kind of weird glitch in the movie?
Glitch in the movie?
Well, they got this orb, haven't they? And it's got loads of sort of pre-Sanskrit writing on it, and then Dan Aykroyd's character says, "Oh, I know somebody who could translate this."
Yeah.
And I thought that they were then going to go and find the other Ghostbuster. Oh,
what other Ghostbuster?
You know,
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray, thank you. Bill Murray, I thought he was going to kind of like come in at that point. But they didn't. They went off to the library to see somebody we hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
But then, this is what I mean about glitch. Bill Murray just popped out of nowhere, didn't they?
They did conduct, with the Fire Master, we haven't mentioned him yet, but they conducted some kind of psychic tests with him.
Yeah, but it's just, he just like appeared to be, suddenly they didn't introduce him in.
He wasn't in it very prominently. The other ones were in it more prominent.
He had already gone to this new Ghostbusters base.
Yeah.
And that's where they were to conduct that experiment with the colander on his head.
Yeah.
Right? But my point is he's just there.
Yeah.
They didn't mention we need to get him in or we need to do it. He just appeared. Then he kind of disappeared out of it. Then he comes back in.
Yeah, towards the end. Yeah.
So it was kind of like Bill Murray was popping in and out, kind of slightly sort of.
Well, that's just Bill Murray.
Yeah. It was like, oh, I'll come on set today. I don't know.
What I really liked was the fact that this was funny. It was a funny film.
It got me laughing, got the audience laughing, got you laughing, and it had some good jokes.
It was just a great cinema experience.
I loved the. Your grandmother had a sex dungeon.
It's not a sex dungeon. Can we please stop talking about this?
Can we stop calling it a sex dungeon? There's a pair of handcuffs hanging up. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
When they walked in, because let's bring up the Fire Master. There's this character who is selling off this orb, which is the big troublesome MacGuffin in the film.
Yeah.
And it's because he's discovered this hidden room that obviously his grandmother had, and they come from a long line of kind of ancient Ghostbusters. That use their own sort of spiritual power to contain evil and things. And he discovers this room, and it's funny because when they open the room, I kind of got this Connor McLeod Highlander vibe.
Yeah.
Going into the museum.
If you've seen it, you'll know what we're talking about.
Going into his museum of artifacts.
Yeah.
You know, that was quite good. But that character,
he was funny.
He was very funny throughout the whole movie. In fact, I did hear a couple of people in the audience where they got up and saying, he was the funniest character.
Because you kind of thought that he would be he was introduced, but then you thought after he'd like given the orb away,
you wouldn't
see him again. But then he came back,
and he became one of the main characters, and a very important character. And he did make some really good gags all the way through.
Yeah,
and I really.
Well, like when he put like the armor on, and was sliding down the pole. Did you use like all the lighter fluid?
Yes.
Damn.
There was again. There was this. I don't know why they do it in some movies. Okay, I can't think of any other examples off the top of my head, but they have this sequence where it suddenly dawns on Phoebe that their proton packs aren't up to the job to take on this new bad guy.
Oh, what's his name? It began with G. Gorak or something. Garatha?
Garatha. Sounds about right.
Something like that.
We're definitely working off our memories.
Yeah.
We haven't got a script or anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she realises that because they've already spoken about copper and brass being a metal which can confine and repel evil, that she disassembles her proton pack because she's. Do you know that little sequence that she sticks it under the bed?
Yeah.
And the police come and confiscate them all, so she's still got that one proton pack.
Yeah.
Not that it really matters.
Because they do get like a van load of new ones from the other guy.
But she upgrades hers. So you get through this montage where she takes out the proton accelerator, she cuts a chunk out of the brass fireman's pole, melts it down with a blowtorch with other bits of brass metal, and then
Garaka.
Oh, he's googling. then she dips her proton accelerator into that molten brass and puts it back. And all that occurs when the bad guy, what's his name? Garaka is literally like almost outside because all this is set in New York and it's outside the original fire station they're at, and this is all meant to have happened within like a 5-minute thing. And I'm thinking, this is like hours of work.
It's a point of this where you kind of have to suspend your disbelief.
Yeah, but they've done this in other movies as well.
Yeah,
they have some big montage.
Is that quick montage?
And you think the bad guys must have gone, yeah, all right, well, just let us know when you're ready. Anyway,
well, it's a spooky movie. It's well, they see like a tricycle outside just going along.
Yeah, it just comes out of the misty ice.
Yeah,
it's cool.
It was interesting to see like the whole ice theme.
I'm surprised more people didn't spiked on those gigantic.
Well, I went through like cars on the beach. He was going.
They were really vicious. That they got these little like icicle spears coming out of everywhere.
Yeah,
and you would have thought there would be dead bodies on everything.
Somebody like they were in like the pictures. You saw like bodies on the actual spikes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's just lucky and for the age certification.
Probably for the certification. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure if you saw impaled bodies on spikes that it would be necessarily a family-friendly movie.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think because again, when you talk Ghostbusters, you're talking 1980s.
Yeah.
Back in the 1980s, and you had things like Gremlins and stuff, where you did see people gruesome stuff, and they were kids' movies,
Yeah.
But
now everything's kind of like toned down.
We mustn't upset the little darlings, toned down. But it was really good. It was action. It was fun.
Would you say it was as good as or better than Ghostbusters Afterlife?
Well, I have to say I've only watched that once. I haven't returned to it. It was more of, obviously that one, I felt that one was more of a homage to Egon
Spengler.
The actor who obviously has passed away. It introduced the new characters.
Yeah.
So,
which is good because then you've got the build up for this movie, and then what this movie did well was it got the original cast and the new cast and new characters. We haven't talked about the ghost girl that was introduced in the match.
Oh yeah.
And it seemed to
another MacGuffin. You knew that was going to happen.
It seemed to manage all the different characters quite well.
You asked me a question, so I'm going to say, on reflection, I've watched that one, Afterlife, and I don't recall having a roller coaster ride of laughing and enjoyment like I did out of this one.
Okay.
I'm not saying it was not a bad sort of sequel, but this one I really did enjoy. So
I think maybe it's worth a watch then, because I remember really enjoying Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I might potentially give that one a bit more favour than this one. I think it would be decided on a rewatch.
Well, I quite like the guy who plays Ant-Man.
Paul Rudd, yeah.
Paul Rudd. He's a fun actor, you know. So he probably made it light-hearted as well.
Exactly.
You know. So yeah. If you're gonna go and watch it, if you haven't already seen it, I'm gonna give it a good rating.
Does it have sequel potential?
Right.
Because I think so. You've built the world up now. All of the ghosts that were held in the storage containment have all been released.
And now
so you could just go anywhere with it.
Which may not be a movie, but they could possibly do. What they do a lot of the time these days is they suddenly Disney. Is it Disney? Is Ghostbusters Disney? Or is it Warner Brothers?
Let's have a look.
Let's have a look. Because
Sony.
It's Sony, so it could end up, rather than another movie, it could end up with like a TV series or something.
Yeah, I'll go for that.
You know,
I'll go for that.
Yeah. When I say a TV series, I mean a streaming series.
Shock horror.
Shock horror.
No.
But yeah. So anyway, we get that point where we're going to rate it. So, if you're saying it's freezy, frosty, cold at number 1 or flamingly hot and good at number 10, I'm going to actually say for me, it's a 7.
Interesting, because I was going to go for 8.
Really?
Because I really enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it, but I mean, as a movie goes, it's not like
the best thing in the world.
I think I've got to save my 8, 9s and 10s for something really special, you know.
Okay.
But this is above average.
Yeah.
When it comes to
that's just.
It's not. It doesn't feel like they've just put it together for the sake of putting it together.
Exactly.
To farm it out.
Yeah, to cash in.
To cash in. It's not a cash cow.
It's not Ghostbusters 2016.
Yeah, it's just. It's worth a laugh. I enjoyed it. I mean, I've seen a lot of movies. Well, we've both seen a lot of movies lately, and this one I like having coming out thinking, hey, I had a good time. Oh, what I will say about it is, why do the audience always get up and leave these movies these days just as the credits start coming on?
I know.
Because half the audience
are
trooped out, and you're sitting there thinking, I bet you 10 to 1 there's a mid-credit sequence.
It's become the norm now. There's always going to be something at the end, something in the middle. You don't know. That's the whole anticipation there.
And a movie like this, you kind of, if you watched Oppenheimer, I wouldn't expect to have a mid or end credit on a film like that.
No.
But for a movie like this, you kind of feel that they're going to do something, even if it's something as simple as something, like the last bit of the credits come up and then Slimer bursts out the screen.
Yeah.
Which he just doesn't, by the way. But yeah.
Spoilers. Well, not spoilers, because it didn't happen.
But it didn't happen. But they did have a sequence in it.
Yeah.
So, don't, guys, get up and leave, because as this tail end of half the audience were going out, suddenly the credits stopped, new sequence, and then about a dozen of them come running back again.
Yeah.
And you think, you idiots.
And I mean, it's like, even to give an appreciation to the people that have actually put this together for you to enjoy.
Exactly.
Even if it is just for that.
It's sometimes, I mean, it's become the do thing when it comes to Marvel movies.
Yeah.
You can't not sit through the credits on a Marvel movie lest you miss something that's going to give you a hint to what's going to happen in further movies.
Exactly. That's how they catch you.
This wasn't a hint, I'd say.
No.
I'm not going to... I mean, for those of you that haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it by telling you what it was. It's just a bit of a fun clip.
And even that, we would very highly recommend you go see this film at the cinema, because it was a great experience.
Yeah, I think I probably enjoyed it more seeing it on the big screen with the big subwoofers and everything than if I'd watched it on Blu-ray for the first time.
Yeah.
I think I'd still enjoy it. But now I've seen it on the big screen, I'll probably enjoy it. Sometimes we see movies the second time round and go, actually, it was better on the second viewing.
Yeah.
I will enjoy seeing this again.
Very much so.
There you go.
And
that's it.
Having watched this, it does make me want to go back and watch the other movies.
Yes. There's some of them.
There's some of them.
Okay, so there's our roundup of Ghostbusters Frozen.
Hope you enjoyed
whatever it was.
Hope you
Kingdom,
enjoyed.
is it?
What?
Frozen Kingdom.
Frozen Empire.
Frozen Empire.
If you enjoyed this review, please like and subscribe to this channel and comment below any suggestions of further reviews you'd like to see.
See you in the next one. Proton Pack.